This is happening more and more frequently. Companies around the world are starting to move their assets and their manufacturing capabilities and other aspects of their business away from China. I've been talking about these stories now for over a year, but it's starting to make some real headway. Some of these companies are really China dependent, and at the same time moving their manufacturing capabilities to other countries like India and a few others, maybe even Vietnam. It seems favorable to doing business still in China. There are a lot of reasons for this, and we'll investigate that real fast. But just understand, this also is going to lead to some economic problems that we shouldn't be ignoring, and affects every industry from tech to Hollywood. So let's take a look. Here we go. This article from the Associated Press was produced 6 or 7 hours ago. Didn't get a lot of fanfare. There's about 14 to 18 comments on it now, and it's something that we should all be paying attention to. Again, tech, Hollywood, manufacturing of all kinds. This is going to be a story. Hong Kong. Associated Press, Yahoo Inc. is leaving the China market, suspending its services there as of Monday amid what it says is an increasingly challenging business and legal environment. Now, they're not wrong. Foreign technology firms have been pulling out or downsizing their operations in mainland China as a strict data privacy law specifying how companies can collect and store data has taken effect. Such companies have decided that the regulatory uncertainty and reputational risks outweigh the advantages of staying in the huge market. You really can't blame them. Which foreign technology companies have recently downsized operations or left China? Here we go. This is a pretty good list. First of all, we'll start with Yahoo Inc. said in a statement Tuesday, its services in China stopped as of November 1st. Users visiting the Engadget, China site run by Yahoo this week, find a pop-up notice saying that the site will not publish any new content. By the way, Yahoo started pulling stuff out of China starting back in 2013, but we'll keep going from there. Last month, Microsoft's professional networking platform LinkedIn said it would shutter the Chinese version of the site this year and replace it with a jobs board with no social networking functions. That makes sense as well. Epic Games, which operates the popular video game Fortnite, also says it will pull the game out of China, at least from the market, as of November 15th. A lot of people have been greeted with the message in China telling them that the beta test will be over at that time. The game was launched in China via partnership with China's largest gaming company, Tencent, which owns a 40% stake in Epic. So why are companies leaving China now? Well, there's a lot of different reasons, and this one's focused heavily on tech. So, it just happens to be the story that we pulled. The Personal Information Protection Law that took effect on November 1 limits the amount of information companies are allowed to gather and set standards on how it must be stored. Companies must get users' consent to collect, use, or share data and provide ways for users to opt out of data sharing. That doesn't sound so bad, does it? Seems like maybe we should be doing that to some extent everywhere in the world. But companies also must get permission to send users' personal information abroad. Wow. This could be an issue with China. The new law raises costs of compliance and adds to uncertainty for Western companies operating in China. Companies caught flouting the rules could be fined up to 50 million won, or 7.8 million, or 5% of their yearly revenue, which, believe it or not, for something like Fortnite would be a much, much bigger number. Chinese regulators have cracked down on technology companies seeking to curb their influence and address complaints that some companies misuse data and engage in other tactics that hurt consumers' interests. Well, we experience that here in the U.S. all the time. The downsizing and departures also come as the U.S. and China tussle over technology and trade. Well, we've been tussling over that for years now. Washington has imposed restrictions on telecoms equipment giant Huawei and other Chinese tech companies, alleging they have ties ties with China's military and government. Actually, every company in China has ties to the military and government. So I guess that's every company. Local companies are also feeling the heat, with e-commerce companies like Alibaba facing fines. Regulators are investigating some companies and have imposed strict rules that affect gaming firms like NetEase and Tencent, which are the two biggest ones over there. What other hurdles do foreign tech companies face in China? Well, China operates something known as the Great Firewall, which uses laws and technologies to enforce censorship. This is the other problem. Not good. Content keywords deemed politically sensitive or inappropriate must be scrubbed from the internet. Companies must police their own platforms, deleting posts and making sensitive keywords unsearchable. That's interesting. So they are at the front edge of what other social media companies are doing here in the United States. Let's pay attention. Western social media networks such as Facebook and Twitter have long been blocked by the Great Firewall and generally are not accessible for people in mainland China. There are ways around that, believe me, but it's hard. China has installed a very draconian policy governing internet operators, telling them what to do and especially what not to do, said Francis Lun, CEO of GEO Securities Limited in Hong Kong. I think the question comes down to why bother operating as a foreign company in China with such limited return and such heavy liability. That's very astute. Fortnite's exit is particularly damaging as it shows not even a close partnership, and investment with Tencent is enough to make the business case work. I find these things quite fascinating. Maybe you do too. But this points towards much larger issues that we can't ignore here in the United States. For example, foreign tech companies operating in China also face pressure from their home markets. Some U.S. lawmakers criticized LinkedIn's censorship of U.S. journalist profiles in China. Of course, Microsoft just pulled LinkedIn, so there you are. In 2007, Yahoo was lambasted for handing over information on Chinese dissidents to Chinese government that eventually led to their imprisonment. Not a good look, that's for sure. What does this mean for internet users in China? As we wrap up this article, this is interesting because I'm afraid we should be paying attention to this all around the world, even here in the United States. Chinese alternatives have popped up over the years to fill the void left by foreign social media platforms that have given up on operating under the Great Firewall. Instead of Google, China's most popular search engine is Baidu. Messaging apps like WeChat are used instead of WhatsApp or Messenger. Weibo, a microblogging platform, is the closest equivalent to Twitter, with more than 560 million Chinese users. Unless they have a VPN to mask their internet traffic and location and circumvent the web restrictions, Chinese have fewer options for social networking and access to content, and they are likely to turn to strictly censored local alternatives. Again, these are problems, they're global issues. They aren't going away, and here in the United States, we should be paying very close attention to what happens in China. Anyway, that's just one of the many stories that talk about issues going on in China regarding companies pulling out. This is obviously from the tech side. There are more stories about a pending economic circumstance and situation, which we may dive into later in the week or next week as things seem to deteriorate economically for China. So what do you think? Do you think that this is something we should be concerned with here in the United States? Should we start paying attention to draconian censorship? Should we point out these things that we have in parallel with China? Maybe, maybe not. Be sure to use the content section down below to give me your opinion and your thoughts on this. And I'm going to recommend do support other independent creators here on this platform because they probably won't get the kind of support that they need to rise above the mainstream media. I know that I appreciate your support and your contact, your subscription, your like on my videos and any of the other folks that you enjoy watching really help with the algorithm and with growth. We have to grow as many voices as we can right now to fight off some of these types of problems that, again, could end up here in the United States or many of the other freedom-loving countries in the world. I'm going to end the video the same way I always do. Be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. It truly is. And until next time, bye. Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.